For many, when you mention roller coasters in Ohio, Cedar Point will be what comes to mind. Well, at the southern end of the state is another Cedar Fair park, Kings Island. This amusement park definitely carries its own with a total of 14 different roller coasters. Their selection range from the longest wooden roller coaster, a massive giga coaster, all the way down to your kiddie coaster roundup. Now, as someone who has already created a ranking list of their roller coasters at Kings Island, you might be wondering why I'm revisiting this beloved park, especially that they haven't added a new roller coaster to their lineup. Well, this past trip, I finally got to reride a couple of their roller coasters that I missed out in 2021 and 2020. Also, with the retracking of Racer in 2021 and the big overhaul of The Beast in 2022, my perspective on both roller coasters have shifted somewhat and my new rankings looks somewhat different than my previous version. Before we get into my new ranking, please do me a favor and click on that like button. Also, if you are a fan of Kings Island or roller coasters in general, make sure you subscribe to stay tuned in on future content. Number 14, Flying Ace Aerial Chase, designed by Vekoma, opened in 2001. There are a couple reasons why I dislike Flying Ace Aerial Chase. First thing is how janky this roller coaster feels. Comparing this to the Vekoma's modern designs, it's a night and day difference. Second, being a family coaster located in Planet Snoopy, the line for this attraction can get pretty long. With only one train, the line backs up, giving you plenty of time to contemplate your life choices like waiting in line for a kiddie family coaster when a highly superior coaster is located like 100 feet to your left. Number 13, Great Pumpkin Coaster, designed by Ian F. Miller, opened in 1992. Your typical kiddie coaster, not much to say here other than I'd rather ride this roller coaster than Flying Ace Aerial Chase. Number 12, Woodstock Express, designed by John C. Allen, opened in 1972. This classic wooden roller coaster serves as an excellent stepping stone for the kiddie family attractions up to the bigger wooden coasters in the park like Racer, Beast, and Mystic Timbers. The ride lacks any true thrill, but will help younger coaster enthusiasts in training get a grasp on how a wooden coaster handles and feels. Number 11, Adventure Express, designed by Aerodynamics, opened in 1991. We come to our first roller coaster that has featured a major change in ranking. The first time I rode Adventure Express, I only had high praise for this quaint Aeromine coaster. The ride is unique as it performs about half of the layout before reaching the first lift hill. The second half ends by climbing up a second lift, but inside a Mayan-themed tunnel, I think that's what it is. It's actually pretty good theming that is also on the creepy side, but anyways, however, once you reach the top, it's all anticlimactic as you take a turn to the right back into the station. As much as I enjoy the theming and interesting layout, that anticlimactic ending and even worse janky transitions makes this a skippable attraction. If the line is short or if I'm visiting the park with someone new, I might give it a go, but as it stands now, I'd rather be waiting in line for one of the bigger B&M coasters in the park. This year in 2023, Kings Island will be opening a new land called Adventure Port. One of the notable updates will be improved theming on Adventure Express. So yeah, I will have to check it out, but unfortunately, I doubt any major track work will take place to restore this aging attraction. Number 10, Flight of Fear, designed by Premier Rides, opened in 1996. Just like Adventure Express has been dropping in ranks, well, Flight of Fear continues to do the same, providing unpleasant ride experiences. Now, I have to confess, to many this roller coaster will present no problems, and you might be scoffing at a low ranking at like 10th place, but let me explain. Being a taller person, these style of restraints do not fit me well. I have to bend my legs in some unnatural directions just to fit into the trains. I hear that this problem is an issue with more than I thought, but yeah, when you can't sit in the train properly and have full function of the seat, it makes the ride less appealing. After my last ride in 2021, I moved this coaster down into my one and done list. As for the positives, this is an indoor roller coaster that features a decent launch, a tight layout, and great theming. If you get past the bad train designs, then you will understand why Flight of Fear continues to have one of the longest lines in the park. Number 9, Invertigo, designed by Vekoma, opened in 1999. I'm not a fan of boomerang roller coasters, which is basically what Invertigo is. However, these inverted models tend to be less janky, meaning little to no head banging. It's not my favorite ride, but hey, if I see that there's a short wait, then I have no problem getting dizzy while riding Invertigo. Number 8, Backlot Stunt Coaster designed by Premier Rides, opened in 2005. For a family roller coaster, Backlot Stunt Coaster has a little bite to it. Starting off with that launch out of the station, the giant upward helix produces some strong G-forces, and I've been known to gray out during that part of the ride. The theming is what really sells this attraction, which is done quite well. I would argue that the attraction feels out of place, though not as bad as the clone copy at King's Dominion. All in all, this is a fun, solid attraction that has 2 launches, plenty of themed interactions, and a long tunnel at the end of the ride. Number 7, Racer, designed by John C. Allen, opened in 1972. In 2021, Kings Island was able to do some extensive track work, which really brought this aging wooden coaster back from the brink. The coaster isn't perfect, there are still some notable jankiness, but it's so much better than my rides back in 2017. The racing aspect is always a nice addition, it provides something a little different from the other 3 wooden roller coasters in the park. Racer won't be anyone's favorite coaster, but with its high capacity, this serves as a great filler coaster as you work around to the larger attractions in the park. Number 6, Bat, designed by Aerodynamics, opened in 1993. Moving slightly down in rank, Bat continues to hold up as one of the better suspended coasters in the country. Granted, there's only like 3 operating in the United States and like 5 in the world, but regardless, this is a fun coaster. The biggest downside would have to be its short layout. The lift takes forever, but the ride experience lasts about 45 seconds. I love how a good chunk of the ride, the coaster hugs the terrain, allowing the coaster to travel at higher speeds, thus why it has a shorter ride time. The ride is starting to develop a rattle of sorts, but that should be expected from an older Aero roller coaster. Number 5, Banshee, designed by Bolliger and Mabillard, or B&M for short, opened in 2014. I'm so glad I was able to get some redemptive Banshee rides in 2022. My 2020 experience was not the best. I thought the roller coaster was rough and boring. Well, if you sit up near the front, the rattle is very minimal or non-existent, allowing you to soak in that amazing view and to experience the high G-forces. Unlike older inverted roller coasters that tend to have snappier inversions, Banshee keeps the elements a little bit more drawn out, but at higher speeds. The pretzel knot produces some strong G-forces that make my legs feel like they could be torn right off. The finale of the ride is my favorite part. I'm a huge fan of that slow-moving inline twist. I never thought we would experience hang time on an inverted roller coaster. Number 4, Beast or The Beast, designed in-house, opened in 1979. Prior to the 2022 season, Beast underwent some major renovations, including a steeper first drop and tons of new track. The helix at the end of the ride is better than ever. During my rides in 2017, I thought that the coaster was going to break off the track during that element because it was so rough. Now, that out-of-control feeling is still there, but the nasty shakiness and jackhammering has been alleviated. Before, the nasty rattle and whatnot would keep me from riding the Beast or making it a one-and-done ride. Well, this new retracking has pushed Beast into my must-ride list during every Kings Island visit. Number 3, Mystic Timbers, designed by Great Coasters International, opened in 2017. I used to say that my top 3 roller coasters at Kings Island were tough to rank. Well, this year, these 3 final coasters are starting to find their placing. Mystic Timbers is a great, smooth, wooden roller coaster that is loaded with fast pops of airtime. The ride stays very low to the ground, creating that out-of-control feeling for the entire ride prior to the shed. For a wooden coaster that is now 5 years old, or about to be 6 I guess, I was pleasantly surprised how smooth it still is. This has to be the smoothest roller coaster constructed by GCI, yet alone probably the smoothest wooden roller coaster out there. My only complaint is the shed. It's supposed to serve as a buffer while the train ahead is being loaded and unloaded. Instead, I feel like it holds up the operations, especially if running with 2 trains. It takes forever for the train to clear the shed and to roll into the station. We all know that the theming isn't what we were hoping for, but it's okay, especially for Cedar Fair standards. Number 2, Diamondback, designed by B&M, opened in 2009. Some will say it's the best hypercoaster on the planet, and I might agree. Diamondback is loaded with excellent floater airtime. If you ride in the back row, then be prepared for some of the best moments of airtime on pretty much any B&M coaster. The first drop is great. The 2 giant airtime hills are so much fun. Even those smaller bunny hills prior to the splashdown will provide some airtime, if you are riding in the back row. Speaking of the splashdown, still super cool to watch. I love to turn my head around and watch those giant rooster tails of water go blasting into the sky. The two things that hold this coaster back from being the best at the park, first is the rattle. It's not as bad as some claim, but it pops up during a couple parts of the ride, and depending on where you are seated, it can be uncomfortable. Second thing, if you aren't riding in the back or in the front of the train, then Diamondback will give you a middle of the road experience. These long trains put more emphasis on the back and the front, leaving the middle of the train out of the fun during the ride's best moments. Number 1, Orion, designed by B&M, opened in 2020. Unlike Diamondback, that if I can't score a back or front row ride, I'm still going to be happy. Orion is such a versatile roller coaster. I used to argue that the front was the best seat in the house, now I'm leaning towards the back, but honestly, who cares? Any seat on Orion will put a big, giant smile on my face. The first drop is so good, reminds me a lot of Fury 325. It may be shorter than Fury, but who can tell the difference? The wave turn isn't super crazy, but a neat moment that provides height and speed. I love the speed hill and giant airtime hill, delivering great moments of ejector airtime and floater airtime. The final airtime turn prior to the brake run is also another standout element. It provides laterals and airtime. Orion may not have been the record-breaking Giga Coaster that we hoped for, but what we got is another solid coaster by B&M. This is the ride that solidified me as a B&M fanboy, and also it made its way into my top 10 roller coasters, which you can watch that by clicking this link here on the screen or go into the video description. Well, that's going to do it for my ranking of all the roller coasters at Kings Island. Did I get the ranking right or wrong? Let me know in the comments. Till next time, this is X Screen Thrills.